Welcome, everybody. My name is Rob Foray with Imagine Technologies, and today we will be presenting the Archibus Reservation platform as organizations are really looking into bringing people back into the offices in some format. So, so this is our agenda today. Little introductions, not too long. Little kind of go over the Archibus Reservation platform to talk about what we're going to show you, the different options, and we're going to do the software presentation by Fulton. And then we'll, at the end, you can type in your questions as they come along. So we'll cover them at the end. And also my information will be at the end so that you can, if other questions arise after the presentation, you can certainly contact us with those. So this, again, the presenters today, Robert Foray, that's me, and Fulton Hartzog will be presenting the software. So discover the Archibus Reservation platform. I want to kind of start off with how we got here. As everyone knows, basically, is the COVID started several years ago. Was it like 3 years now almost? Which sent everyone into their cocoons as far as working out of the homes to help alleviate the spread of the virus. And over time, through vaccines and people getting some herd immunity, et cetera, organizations started to think about coming back probably a year and a half ago, if I recall. And Archibus came out with software modifications that allow limited return to the office with distance, if you recall, 6 feet between people, and also some functionality to allow areas to be cleaned and decontaminated if someone came about with the virus after they've been in the office for a while and they reported in, hey, we've gotten the virus. And that was the platform or the software is available and the functionality is available then. Now we're starting to see a lot more rigid coming back into the office, and in a hybrid format it's starting out as. So as facilities planners or facilities managers of organizations, they have to think about a couple things as this process happens. What are the phases of the process? Number one is situational awareness. The employees, how many employees do you have? How much space do you have? A lot of that space has been sitting dormant for several years. So, do we have to kind of clean up that space, bring it back online somehow? Could have been dusty or whatever, since it was hardly used, except for some maybe key personnel that had to be in the facility for some reason. Once the situational awareness is determined, and that also is part of what the corporate policy or the company policy is going to be, as far as how are we bringing the people back? When are they going to be back? Is it going to be, how much of a part-time basis will it be, being in the office versus being able to work remotely? Once that's done, the planning starts. All right. The critical employees first, the more critical employees first need to start coming back, or teams that are on projects together, maybe for some collaboration, face-to-face collaboration might be the first phase of people coming back. And shifts, again, hoteling, is it required 2, 3, 4 times a week that you have to be back in the office? How do we give those people tools of where they're going to be in spaces? Etc. Hoteling, desk booking, self-service. What tools are we going to allow these people or enable our employees to have to book desks, book spaces for when they come into the office? And then when it's done, monitor and adjust. How is it? What is the capacity? Are people using the tool? Are they liking it? Some people like the camaraderie and collaboration face to face. So those types of capacity matrices, and if there's any incidents that happen, someone gets a resurgence of COVID or something like that, all those items have to be thought about and planned for, and then provide a tool to deal with them. So the booking or reservations options, there are several ways that Archibus does it, and these there's going to be some more graphical slides after this, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this. But there's permanent full-time, multiple rooms assignments. These are people with a single room assignments, and this is not really part of the booking reservations. This is part of what it would be, what I consider how most organizations did it pre-COVID. People were assigned a space, and that's their space. Every day they went to the office, and that's the space they used, whether it's shared or if you are a manager or some level and you're entitled to a private office or semi-private office, things like that. Then permanent single room assignments, remote status, depending on your remote status, assignments per team. That's a thing that organizations are looking at, is assigning spaces on a team basis that they can use that space at will, that team, and people just come in and, hey, this is your space on this floor, this section of the house. Go sit wherever is free or wherever you want. Then this is the core, which we'll be showing you as far as the software is the booking, the on-demand booking capabilities of the software. So if you look at it graphically, this is basically space management. Pre-COVID, this is the quote, I'm using air quotes, you can't see me, old ways, pre-COVID, before the world went crazy for a while, where people were just assigned spaces. And the facilities manager, the space managers had a record of it, whether it be in an Excel spreadsheet, through the HR system, or through a space management system like Archibus. And they can monitor and have pretty good static information about capacity, where people are, et cetera, et cetera. That could be either as a single office space, or if you're in a shared office or cube world back then. So those were the two full-time multi-room or single room ways to manage space. And that was space management. It wasn't really hoteling or reservations. So permanent part-time single assignments with remote status. So this is where we started to getting into the hybrid part-time back into the office, part-time home work policies and requirements of a company. So an employee could come in, hey, I'm going to be in there Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, all the time, every week. That's my sign. That's what I've been assigned to. That's what I've been tasked to do, to be in those spaces. So not as a self-serve, but a space manager or a facilities manager can put into the system that Allison or Joan Abernathy will be on Mondays, Tuesdays, Fridays, in this case Saturdays looks like, and have a permanent space for that person. It's assigned to Joan for those days, and those other days of Wednesdays and Thursdays, I'm assuming they're not open on Sundays, that another person will have that same space. So it's a permanent temporary space, or a permanent shared space. So that's one of the ways to do a hybrid return to work process. And the other one that I just spoke about, that's kind of organizations are interested in, is by a team approach. So we're going to assign a team, a block of desks, block of cubicles, whatever it may be, an area on a floor, and say designate that their space. And so as those team members come in, they are informed of where their team is located for collaboration and things like that. It might be an IT group, HR group, finance group, whatever it may be, project group if they're on projects, etc. And they could just come in on the days that they are, assigned to come in, or not assigned to come in, and saying, hey, I'm going to be in this. Let's as a team come in on this day together because we have to have a meeting, face-to-face meeting, collaboration on a big project. We want to make sure everyone's at a status. And they could just come in and pick a desk at will without, reserving it or whatever. They walk in that morning and see an empty space, and that's their seat for the day. So that is the team approach, where a grouping of space is assigned to a team, and the members of that team can come in at will and just sit whatever's available. So, and then we have the on-demand booking of rooms per employee. So this is the more, hey, I'm planning to come in on a Tuesday. Let me see what space is available on a Tuesday. I want to be on this floor, and then they could see it on their computer or a remote device if they have a system like Archibus, and reserve that space for that thing. It could be a full day if they're coming in for the full day, half day if they're coming in the morning or in the afternoon. I know a lot of folks that I speak to that are my colleagues and people that I know in other businesses. This is the way a lot of them are doing it today. And then finally, for multiple employee meetings, so you want a group. This is more like a conference room or large room where you can have collaborations and things like that, so that they can come in and schedule a meeting, reserve the space, have any, if you want, have any amenities available, coffee and coffee maker, etc., and reserve that space, and then request those types of amenities, whether it be a room that has a projector available of some sort, like I said, some catering services if it's going to be an all-day meeting and you want to have lunch together, etc. So that's another type of space or request that can be made through the system for group spaces. So I think today we're going to be focusing primarily on the last two items that we talked about, because this is more of a self-serve type of process, so that an organization can release a tool like Archibus to their employees and let them reserve the spaces that they need for the days that they are coming in. I think that's it. So I'm going to turn it over to Fulton to kind of go through the software a little bit and show you what the capabilities are.
As Rob said, today we're focusing on booking spaces. We have two types of spaces that we want to look at. Workspaces, which are spaces for individuals to come in and sit at a desk while they're doing their work for the day. And then meeting spaces where two or more people get together to have a conversation or a presentation or any of those kinds of activities. So in the first place, we are looking at the workspace interface that Archibus has provided. This is a little more user-friendly than the interface that is typically in Web Central. And here you see some of the options you have when you're working with it. You can find people in places. You can reserve either workspaces or meeting spaces. And then you can also ask for a variety of services. As a user, once you've completed this, you also have the ability to look and review and see updates on any of the requests that you have made. So let's begin with workspaces. I'm going to hit this book. And this particular floor is brought up because my user is associated with this building. And so we're able to look at that automatically. If your user wasn't associated specifically with the building, then you would have just an overall view of the plan. And they would ask you what building are you interested in booking? On the right, you have some criteria. So do you want a recurrence pattern? In other words, are you going to reserve this for more than one day? Start date would be set up as today to begin with, but you can also look into the future. And depending on how the settings have been put together, then you're able to determine how many days in advance somebody can book. You can book for a whole day, you can book for just the morning or just the afternoon. You can have types of bookings, rooms, for either any type or different spaces that you define. So we're going to look for an unenclosed workstation. And when we do that, you see it limits us to just the ones that are unenclosed. We had some other rooms maybe here in the middle. You can also look for a particular department. That'll give you a list of your departments. And if you want to sit near another employee, you can do that as well. And then if there are amenities available for those rooms, so let's say we wanted a window view, now you see that when the rooms that have a window view are the ones that are showing. I can look at this as a floor plan, or I can click over and see the list as restricted in a text format. So I'm going to stay with the list this way. Now, you also have over here on the left, you can note that there are rooms that are also meet my criteria on another floor in this building, and you see how many are available. So my next step is to select a room. I'm going to pick this one. This one has 3 seats available. I'll be using one of them. We're not being specific about which seat I use, but one will be available when I get there. So I hit book. I can either book it for myself as the AFM user, or I could book it for someone else, or that is part of our organization, or I could do it for somebody that's coming in as a visitor. So once I have that, then I go to the next, and I see the date and the time and the specifications of full day. And so then I'm ready to book. And that's all there is to it. So now when I arrive, I also am able to check in, so I can let them know that I'm here, and also that make sure that the room is available. Or if I don't show up in a specified amount of time, the room becomes available for someone else. So in order to protect my room, I'm going to hit check in. And so now I'm checked into that room and it's mine for the day. Now you also notice if I did other types of things, they'd be listed over here on the right. So now we come back to our main screen, and I'm going to go to book a reservation for a conference room or something of that nature. And you see here we have some conference rooms and we have some smaller huddle type rooms, smaller conference rooms, huddle rooms. And you can define what kind of rooms you want for all of this. So again, over on the right, I have some amenities that I can look for. So if I'm looking for, let's say, a whiteboard, then you see on this particular floor, all these rooms have a whiteboard. And maybe I need a large monitor. And so now we have only one that meets our criteria. I do look over here again at the options on my other floors, and I see that there's one of those rooms on 1 and 4. So once I have those, then I might want to know how many seats I need. So again, this room meets my criteria. I can use a room of any type that's available, either a conference or a meeting room. But here I'm just, since we only have one, there's no reason to do that. And then I can select a meeting time. So I'm going to select here and put in the time I want to meet. So we'll go with 12 to 1. And if I didn't do this now, I could do it in the next step. So now I've done those things, and that room is available to me still. You see it's still available. So in this place, I'm verifying that this time is available for this particular room. So I'm going to click on the room. I'm going to book the room. I'm going to book it from 12 to 1. And then next, I could do a recurrence pattern as well. And now I'm going to put in meeting. I can assign it to a department. This can be charged back to someone if needed. I'm going to give in a number of employees or attendees, and then I can go into each of these, add attendee, and choose who I want to come for the meeting, and then fill that out as we go along. I can also have the option if I want to keep these details private. So then again, I've got over here what my amenities are in that particular room that I've selected. There's even more than I had asked for. And then I can hit next. And now I've got my booking list. So I'm going to hit next again, and I'm done. So again, I have the option to check in when I get there. It's a little bit early yet. It's only 11, so I won't check in yet. But as soon as I check in, then that time, if I'm not there by in a certain time frame, then it will make that room available for others again.